Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is Three Buck Theater, and I'm a big Ben Affleck fan. Even if many years ago he did cuss me out on an internet message board, and it really was him. I'm not even kidding you. But I've always been a fan of Ben Affleck, and I think part of that has to do with the fact that I've always kind of rooted for the underdog. And Affleck to me has always kind of been the underdog in many different ways. When he was Daredevil back in 2003, it was kind of an underdog thing because it wasn't Spider-Man, it wasn't Batman, it was this other movie that, while I think did well with fans, it failed to produce a sequel outside of Elektra, which we can't fault Ben Affleck for. And of course, back in 2013, when he was cast as Batman, a lot of people were suspicious. I myself thought this is going to be a great idea, and I was proven right, especially because Batman v Superman, I think, is a very definitive portrayal of Batman. And unfortunately, that Batman that we kind of fell in love with there was completely gone in Justice League. But then again, that has everything to do with Warner Brothers leadership. But Affleck himself coming on the scene in 2011 with The Town, up for Best Picture, Jeremy Renner up for Best Supporting Actor, followed up by Argo, which ended up going on to win Best Picture for Warner Brothers, got him the vanity project Live by Night, a movie that ultimately failed. It came out in January of 2017 and ultimately cost Warner's around 75 million in losses, if I do remember correctly. And so after Ben Affleck's fallout from the DCEU and his, of course, divorce from Jennifer Garner and his trips to rehab and that weird ass back tattoo, Affleck is now back on top, kind of, with this new movie they just announced today. He's gonna shoot The Ghost Army next. Now, this is a really interesting story because it's a true story. The Ghost Army of World War II. How one top secret unit deceived the enemy with inflatable tanks, sound effects, and other audacious fakery. Part of me feels like this is going to be a bit of a mix of Saving Private Ryan and Operation Dumbo Drop. If I'm being honest with you, that is the vibe I get. I think they're going to handle the source material very, very, very well, but I am a little bit worried that it's going to be treated a bit more slapstick, or it's possible that they might mistreat it similar to, let's say, Monuments Men. However, what I'm pulling from on that one ultimately is a critical response, whereas I loved Monuments Men. So that is just me. But it says here, it looks like Ben Affleck has a new project, The Helm, this one based upon The Ghost Army of World War II by Rick Beyer and Elizabeth Shales. It's all about the exquisite Allied trick that made use of inflatable tanks and all sorts of additional trickery that fooled the Nazi forces and helped allow the final Allied push. There was also a documentary made for PBS about it by Rick Beyer, which can be found on Amazon Prime, called The Ghost Army. Nick Pazzolatto has penned the latest draft, which Affleck will direct and star in. Now, if I recall, didn't Nick Pazzolatto, he did... isn't that the guy from True Detective? I could be wrong. I think it's the guy from True Detective. But there's a whole documentary on Amazon Prime that I'm 100% going to check out now. I'm 100% going to check that out because it sounds like a really cool story. Here's the thing. We have a fascination with World War II. We absolutely do. We love World War II because it felt like kind of like it's the last great war. There was a lot at stake there. And of course, there was Vietnam and Korea and Operation Desert Storm and, the Iraq War and everything else that this country has gone through in the subsequent 70 years has been very interesting. But when you go back and you look at World War II, there was there is a romance about it, and a romance that still remains today. It's been almost 20 years since the release of Band of Brothers, and that is a 10-part miniseries that is just utterly fantastic, amazing to rewatch time and time and time again. So people love to go back to that world. So looking here at this one, I have a feeling it's a good subject matter for Ben Affleck to play with, because Argo was a bit about trickery and trying to get those people out of the Canadian embassy in Iran in the 1970s by trying to fake a movie, a movie shoot. And this one might be something up the same line as that. Like I said, I hope they don't make it like a slapstick comedy, but I do hope that there are some humorous elements as well as some moments that really do show why this particular event, at least according to this description, was so important to the Allied movements in stopping the Nazis in Germany. And so I am pretty stoked to see what happens with this. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen. I am curious to know your thoughts or your opinions. Let me know down in the comments below. Is this interesting to you? Uninteresting to you? How do you feel about it? Write down in the comments. I'll talk to you all later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.